Going live. Howdy, everybody. We're doing a live best ball draft. Thanks to Draft. If you want to play along, you can go to draft.com/ballers. I'm going to be tweeting out a link from our main Ballers account to join in. This is a 10-person draft. So, I mean, you better get in now. It's going to fill up so fast if you want to draft against me. And here's the good news if you want to draft against me. I'm going to attempt to do something I have never done before. Multitask. I'm going to try to answer user questions and draft a team, which basically means I'm going to have a terrible team, and you've got a better chance to win some money on draft. So again, draft.com/ballers. That's where we play best ball. And if you go to twitter.com/theFFballers, you can see the link to join this specific draft that I am doing momentarily. Oh, we got so many people in here chatting away. Hi, everybody. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. If you play and you follow our show and you're enjoying, you go to draft.com/ballers. That link specifically, sign up for draft. Just play a game. Just, have fun, play best ball. You will be automatically entered into a flyaway contest. We're doing a live show in New York, and Draft is going to fly you out, room and board, all covered. Come out and see our live show, free ticket, and you know what? Free VIP ticket. Oh, someone's throwing me the Elton John hate blockers. These are great because I can wear them over my glasses. Should I need to make any pick that I don't care what y'all think about it? All right, let's see. Let's see here. We are waiting to fill. We got 6 spots open on the draft app. I'm going to invite some people. Any questions here while we wait for it to fill up? Should I be happy with Devonta Freeman and Rashad Penny as my dynasty running backs in 10 team? I would say that's a little light for 10 team. I like that. I like both of those guys quite a bit, but hopefully you've got at least another stud-ish running back in the wings in a 10-team league. Usually most teams have a better combo than just Freeman and Penny. Foot Clan, assemble. Let's see here. Thoughts on Aaron Jones with the Jamal Williams with Aaron Jones suspension. I've said this before. I still believe that the back that I would want to own if Aaron Jones wasn't suspended was Ty Montgomery. I'm in the minority there, but I think Ty Montgomery has the talent when everyone's been healthy. And granted, I realize it was only the first 3 games of the rookie season for both Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones, but it was Ty Montgomery who they trusted. Ty Montgomery, who Aaron Rodgers was targeting on like 100+ target pace. Aaron Rodgers loves him. They lost Jordy Nelson. I just can't imagine Ty Montgomery not being involved. So, I think it does hurt Aaron Jones because it says Jamal Williams is going to get the crack ahead of him. And, if Aaron Rodgers is there, the running backs usually succeed. All right, people are challenging me to drafts right now on Play Draft. Oh, nope, that is the draft is full. We are ready to draft in 50 seconds. So we got some people in here. It's going to be a fast draft. I'll give some analysis on every pick and have some fun. You can see how I pick and my rationale behind it. Again, I'm going to be answering questions. So I plan to have a very bad team just for the other 9 people in the league. All right, let's see here. This is going to be really weird, Brooks, because this is where I'm going to say who I hope drops to me, but then the people that are in this drafting are probably watching this. So if I say that, they're not going to drop to me. Or will I tell the truth? You'll never know until I pick. All right, let's see here. Any other here's a question. Grant wants to know what's better than 54. 55. Oh. All right. Opinion on George Kittle as a tight end sleeper. I think he's one of many of those. There's a couple things that could go right and make him relevant, but I don't actually like him as much as a lot of other people do. Jimmy Garoppolo is taking a step forward. But what you saw last year, you had Pierre Garcon get injured. They drafted Dante Pettis. Marquise Goodwin broke out. I think Kittle is not going to be as involved as some people think. They see that second year tight end leap forward. It could happen, but I am doubting it. Looks like, oh, what? I'm on the clock. I didn't know I was on the clock. How do I am about to get auto drafted. No, I grabbed the guy I wanted, which was Zeke at 4. So the first 4 picks, no surprise. Love Bell, Todd Gurley, David Johnson. I got Ezekiel Elliott, which just now, I would say this happened at lunch today with Andy. I came to the determination that so I have been having Zeke as my 4th running back overall, but I'm moving Zeke ahead of David Johnson. I think that Zeke is a safer option. There are a lot of changing parts in Arizona. New offensive coordinator, new head coach. He's been gone for a year. New quarterback, and Vegas doesn't have Arizona scoring a ton of points. So I still love David Johnson, but if I'm at the 3 spot now, I'm drafting Ezekiel Elliott. Thankfully, I got him at the 4 spot. All right. What other question? 8-team leagues that roster 2 tight ends. Is it worth trying to grab a 2-pack of Gronk, Kelsey, and Ertz? I don't think you need to. When there's only 8, Gronk is a good. I would try to grab Gronk when you're in an 8-team league because everyone's got super rosters and he's a real difference maker for you. But I don't think you need to waste multiple picks on that because you're still going to need, depending on how many running backs and wide receivers you're starting, based on the fact you're starting 2 tight ends, I would imagine you're starting a full slate of running backs and wide receivers. I would focus on there. All right, let's see how it's gone since Zeke. Since Zeke, we've got Antonio Brown, of course, Alvin Kamara, Melvin Gordon, Saquon, Hopkins, Julio, Dalvin Cook. All right, so we're about a handful of picks away from me. Let me queue up some guys I like. So there's different strategies, right, in best ball. Best ball, if you're newer, you draft a roster. On draft, you're going to start one quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and then a flex. And it's based on, you don't make roster transactions. You just draft the best team. And so one of the things I like to do throughout the draft, front to back, is I like to draft players in safe situations. A lot of times people say, okay, Deshaun Jackson is great for best ball because you don't have to know whether or not you're going to start that player. And that's true, right? You don't know which weeks he's going to get the 70-yard bomb touchdown, but you'll get them whenever he gets them in draft. And so that's fair. But I also think, okay, he's an older player. He has, Chris Godwin behind him. And so it's one of those things where halfway through the year, we might look back next year and go, yeah, this was the end for Deshaun Jackson. So I like safer situations. I do think volatility is a little bit easier to deal with, like a Deshaun Jackson in here. All right, Gronk off the board. I probably would have taken him had he come to me. I am back on the clock. I have my pickings through a lot of really good running backs, wide receivers, Keenan Allen, Devonta Freeman, LaShawn McCoy. Not happening. In this, because you start 3 wide receivers, I'm between Freeman and Keenan Allen. I'm going to go Keenan Allen here. You get a half-point PPR, which is the baller's preferred scoring in general, and you get that in draft. All right, what other questions do we have out here? Elijah McGuire, the man to own from the Jets backfield? No. I mean, I think Elijah McGuire is actually probably undervalued right now. I mean, I'm in a Fantasy Pros mock draft right now where it's 14th round. I don't think Elijah McGuire's been drafted at all, and he is probably the main secondary back. But there's still Bilal Powell, Thomas Rawls is there, and the guy you actually want is Isaiah Crowell. So, could Elijah McGuire do something? Sure, but I don't think he is by any means the guy that you want. Who do you think is going to be the biggest bust so far this year? That would be LaShawn McCoy for me, which maybe that'll come back to bite me because if anybody's ever said that in the past, it's come back to bite them. I just feel like the Bills, they're not in the best of situations right now, and he's an aged man it's funny. He's a lot younger than me now, but for running backs, pizza or cheeseburgers, I think I got to go pizza there. I mean, I love both, but I love all food. Really, that's kind of a problem for me. All right, so Kelsey is also gone. Devontae Adams, AJ Green. Since I picked, I am 2 picks away. Here's the guys on the board. You got Christian McCaffrey, LaShawn McCoy. Maybe I can talk his value down enough on here to where he drops to a place I'll draft him, like the 10th. Just kidding. I would clearly draft him. You know, if he drops middle of the third in a 12 team, I would draft him there. Oh man, I'm tempted right now. I am really tempted to draft Shady if he drops me. I'm at the 3-4. I have disparaged LaShawn McCoy left, right, and center. So I'm going to do it because this will be you are experiencing the only share of LaShawn McCoy I will have this year, and that is in this best ball draft. So my roster right now, I've got Ezekiel Elliott, LaShawn McCoy, and Keenan Allen. All right, what draft position is your favorite to draft from this year? I like the 4 spot. I'm fine with the 5 or 6 or the 3, anything in the top 6, because I think there are a handful of players that are the elite of the elite. They're a tier above other fantasy options. They are like starting 2 players at once, and those being Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, Zeke, David Johnson. I would throw Antonio Brown in that mix, absolutely. And then the questionable one to me is Alvin Kamara. I don't see him in that tier just because of volume. I know Andy, whose chair I'm sitting in right now, he's usually at this spot. He would put him up in that tier. So, but that's it. 4, 5, or 6, depending on what you think of Kamara and whether or not you want a running back or you include Antonio Brown in your first round, who you want. Shout out to all sports vlogs, just because I'm cool. Flattery gets you everywhere. Let's see. Yeah, am I getting grief for drafting a guy I call the biggest bust? Yes, but it was the 3-4. I mean, I might as well. Someone likes Josh Gordon in the 3rd round. That someone is not me. Just throwing that out there. I think Josh Gordon is when he was the number 1 wide receiver years ago, he had no one else in town. And now you've got Tyrod starting the year as the starter, presumably, who doesn't have a lot of volume. You've got Jarvis Landry, Duke Johnson, Corey Coleman. He's just not going to have enough volume. All right, I am a pick away. Now I'm on the clock, 27 seconds to go. Based on roster composition and the league format, I'm looking wide receiver here. Josh Gordon is here in the 4th round, or Juju Smith-Schuster, Amari Cooper. A lot of great guys, but I'm actually going to go a little bit more volatile. I am going to go Cooper here. I think his volume is very, very, very safe. There was a down year last year for both Derek Carr and Amari Cooper. I think getting him in the middle to the back of the 4th is definitely a good value. So I'm happy with that right now. I'm rocking Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, and Shady. All right, what other questions do we have? Do we play, we get this question from time to time, whether or not I play IDP. We don't play IDP. I just don't enjoy it as much. We focus so much on offensive coordinator, offensive schemes, and all of that. IDP leagues are great. I mean, it's taking it to another level. Not against them. I just don't have as much fun in those leagues. So that's why we don't focus any advice. Oh, bonjour, Chris from the UK. Glad to have you here with us. Looks like there's a lot of Josh Gordon supporters in here. Jordan Howard or Joe Mixon? That's a really great question. I actually think I lean Jordan Howard on that right now. And I'm worried about what we saw from Joe Mixon. Oh, I guess I got to pay attention. I am about to be up on the clock. So I'm right now split 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. I'm not really focusing on a tight end yet. I tend to let the top tier go. I'm going to stay at the running back and wide receiver position. Since I'm even, I would take the best available. I don't like the running backs here. The best one is Mark Ingram, who I don't like in redraft, but in best ball is okay because you're going to get the whole season. I'm going to take a flyer here. It's a little early to draft him, but I like what I've always been a Sammy Watkins truther. I think his talent is undeniable. If you just watch film, you can look, and he's missed a lot of games, but his games, the majority of those games that he's missed, they're with that Jones fracture in the foot. And, a couple of years ago, we called for the second surgery, kind of like I've been calling with Greg Olsen this season. And so many players have had that second surgery. Julio Jones needed it. Julian Edelman needed it. Des Bryant needed it. Lots of guys needed that second one. And we had to wait until Sammy Watkins got his, but he's had it. And he played healthy last season. I think he is one of those guys that we're going to say, oh, he's a super injury prone player until he's not. And I don't think he's going to be injury prone from here on out. He's got, a great offensive mind with Andy Reid. And so I would say, here's some of the guys that I just took Sammy Watkins over. I took Sammy Watkins over Alshon Jeffrey, who I actually like more than Sammy. But I said in the beginning, I try to go risk adverse in best ball. And I don't think Sammy Watkins, I don't feel like he's an injury risk, not to the degree that Alshon Jeffrey is, who literally had a shoulder surgery and is trying to make it back by week 1. That's one of those things where if anything goes wrong, I might miss my 4th round pick. So, if Alshon drops back to me in another round or two, definitely not an anti-Alshon guy. There is one player here that I'm hoping to get. He's further down the list, and I'm going to draft him a little early. I just moved him up in the Ultimate Draft Kit rankings today. Haven't even updated the update log. But the more that I've looked into the stats for the Patriots, I'm at least leaking the team, the more that I think this guy's primed for a big season. Unless he gets injured, I think it's going to happen. And he will probably get to me in about 4 picks. So here's some of the running backs and wide receivers on the board right now. We got Lamar Miller, Dion Lewis, Ronald Jones, Golden Tate, Jarvis Landry, Crabtree. Rex Burkhead is out there. I took Rex Burkhead pretty high in a Fantasy Pros Expert mock draft recently because I like him. Oh, Andrew Chavez calling the shot. And you are right, Andrew. That is the player that I wanted, and I'm going to do whatever I want here. Oh, man. No, I can't take him over Golden Tate. So if Golden Tate drops to me, I will take Golden Tate. And, Chris Hogan actually went right before me. That was the player that I was hoping, but I couldn't take him over Golden Tate. And I didn't get the opportunity to, so I've got Golden Tate now. So my roster is Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins, Zeke, and Shady. This is about the time. Once I get, 6, 7 picks in and I'm looking to add depth, that I will maybe consider, and definitely later, I will consider the bye weeks, because you got to watch and see, did I draft 3 guys on a week 9 bye for wide receiver? If you did, then in week 9, you better have at least 6 guys, probably 7, to ensure that, you're going to be missing 3 guys. You start a mandatory 3 plus a flex. Right now, my bye weeks are great. No position with a double up bye weeks. All right. How do you play best ball in the summer is a question from Gids. You go to draft.com/ballers and you can do what I'm doing, which is a fast draft where everybody's got 30 seconds. You can be in as small as a 3-man league, which are fun. I mean, there's no way at the end of that draft you won't love your team, because it's a team of superstars. And you could do that in 30 seconds. Those drafts take minutes. Just literally start one up. In an hour, you could get in a ton of those games. Or you can do a slow draft where you got an 8-hour clock. You don't have to worry if you're working or whatever. I am 1 pick away here. Oh, man, do I double up and go Ronald Jones? Get Shady and Ronald Jones, the 2 players that I like the least for their average draft position. No, I don't, because he went right ahead of me. So I am going to take the aforementioned reach on Rex Burkhead. Everyone knows there are fantasy points galore in New England. You don't always know which running back it's going to be. This is a perfect format to capitalize on that. Rex Burkhead could very well be the goal line back. I know everyone said Sony Michel's got that, locked down, but they utilized him in the goal line last year, and his actual efficiency metrics there were fantastic. Belichick is one that says he doesn't look at statistical metrics, but then everything he does is perfectly aligned with him. So hogwash, of course he does. I would not doubt it if Rex Burkhead is very involved on the goal line, and I hope he is, so that I beat you all playing with me. Let's see. Rex Goathead. Yes, Jason. Thanks. Oh, he says I'm looking great. Oh, you're down 14 pounds as well. I did the unthinkable. I've made fun of Mike Wright and his keto diet for as long as I could, but then he's dropping all those LBs, so I joined him. And I'm on keto. I'm on day, what is today? The 5th. So I'm on day 5. July 1st, I started the keto diet. Any other questions out there? Who do you think will score the most fantasy points on the Jets? Usually the default answer would be easy. It would be a quarterback because they score the most points. However, there, I think you're going to see a split through the season of different quarterbacks. I'm actually going to take Robbie Anderson. It's between him and Isaiah Crowell, but Robbie Anderson, eh, look, he's a great field stretcher. He's fast. He's big. He's had issues, but most of those have been resolved. It's possible he could face a one-game suspension. That hasn't happened yet. Nothing's come out about that, but we've seen that with situations in the past that he has. But I think Robbie Anderson is, he's a heck of a value right now. He continues to drop based on his off season. All right, how many picks? I am 2 picks away right now. There's some great players out there that I like. My roster is Zeke, Shady, Burkhead, and then Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, and Sammy Watkins. At this point, I will peek at tight end, see if there's any I like. There's usually not. And then Tariq Cohen is out there. Isaiah Crowell is out there. Emmanuel Sanders. Those are a lot of players that I would like in this format. I said there's usually not a tight end I like, but actually there is one, and I'm going to take one here. Jimmy Graham is a tight end that I avoid at all costs in redraft leagues because his price is way too high. A lot of times in redraft leagues, home leagues, he's going, 6th, 7th round. Here I'm getting him in the 8th round. But the best part about it, the reason I don't want Jimmy Graham is because Aaron Rodgers doesn't necessarily utilize the tight end. And we saw Jimmy Graham last year. He's not getting the yards. He's not as fast as he was, but he is dynamic in the red zone, as is Aaron Rodgers. So he's going to get his touchdowns. I don't have to guess when they come. If he ends up with 10 touchdowns, as I think there's a good chance, then I get all of those scores on my roster. So now my team is Zeke, Shady, Rex Burkhead, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins, and Jimmy Graham, the less handsome of the Jimmy G's. Garoppolo is probably still out there. Actually, it looks like good for you guys. We're in the 8th round, and I think there's only been one quarterback taken. Oh, Cam Newton just flies off the board. This is a place where, at this value, I would probably think about taking some of these quarterbacks. I prefer to have 2 quarterbacks. I think taking a 3rd quarterback does not pay dividends on a league like this. You're not going to win first place, if you've got major injuries. So I don't worry about, okay, well, what if one gets injured? Even if one gets injured, you've still got a quarterback. I'll just say this because I don't know if this person on the clock is listening or not. But if he doesn't take Tom Brady, I will, and he didn't, and I did. So my roster now has 1 quarterback and 1 tight end, that being Tom Brady, Jimmy Graham. I got Zeke, Shady Burkhead, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins. And I believe this is where I am further from the turn. So I can answer some questions here. Final keeper question. Alex Collins or Kenyon Drake? That is without a doubt, Alex Collins pick for me. Anybody that's listened to the show for a while knows I'm a Kenyon Drake truther. I think he's great, but you always want to follow what the team is doing money-wise, draft-wise, and I don't think they're going to give Kenyon Drake the ball. I mean, they'll give him some, but I don't think they're going to make him the workhorse that we saw the second half of last year. We only saw that after Jay Ajayi got traded, and then even after that, Damian Williams was the starter, and it took Damian Williams getting injured before they said, okay, we don't have a choice. We'll give the ball to Kenyon Drake a lot, and then he exploded. Now, you would hope that the team would come this season and say, okay, we've got our guy. We've got our running back. But they go and they draft Kalen Ballage, and then they signed the Infinity Stone himself, Frank Gore, who we've seen go from team to team, and he takes over that starting bulk first and second down work. So Alex Collins, to me, he proved enough last year to be the main guy. Dynasty PPR trade, Hogan for Shepard. Thoughts? Hogan is more of a win now guy. I think Hogan has a better year than Shepard this season. I'm fine taking that on. If your team is competing for the title, go for it. That being said, Shepard has probably a slightly better future in the sense that he's significantly younger. I still think he's a great wide receiver. Both players have a real quarterback problem. I mean, for dynasty longevity wise, Tom Brady's not playing until he's 50. contrary to popular opinion. Oh, Robbie Anderson just now went. I didn't realize he was still on the board. That was a good pick. Um, and and obviously Eli Manning, I hope he's got a year left for, all the Saquon and Odell Beckham truthers. Why did they? Oh, I'm on the clock. I'll gripe in a minute. Let's see here. So I'm on the clock. I've only got 3 running backs, so I'm probably leaning towards that, depending on if there's someone I like. Duke Johnson is available. He's always sneaky as far as how much value he actually provides. So I'm going to draft him. It's a half point PPR league. Um, it's tough because you've got Nick Chubb coming in, you've got the free agency signing, you have Jarvis Landry, and a lot of people are saying, okay, Duke Johnson's targets are going to go away. I said that, I thought that, and then they gave him a massive contract, saying, no, you don't give a contract like that to a guy that is being phased out of the offense. So I think Duke Johnson will surprise like he has the last several years in a full point PPR league last year. He was an RB1. He was the 12th best running back, which is insane. Nobody feels that way about Duke Johnson. So to get him in the 10th round or ninth, I can't tell where I'm at. Yeah, I guess that was the 10th round. I'll take that value. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? Ertz or Kelsey? That's a great question. I prefer Ertz because there's less changing parts. You've got a new quarterback in town. You've got Sammy Watkins in town with Kelsey. Those two players are so similar to me. I wouldn't complain about anybody taking Kelsey over Ertz or Ertz over Kelsey. But I've been a long time Ertz supporter. He was one of my 3 my guys last year, and he came through. So I'm going to take him over Kelsey. I'm back on the clock in 1 pick right now. My roster is Tom Brady, Zeke, Shady, David Johnson, Rex Burkhead, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins, and Jimmy Graham. So I could go just about anywhere but quarterback. I'm going to wait. My last pick will probably be my second quarterback. Drag him off of out of the grave. So I could use it. I would prefer a wide receiver if both were the same. Des Bryant is out there if you want to take that kind of risk of saying, hey, maybe he'll be there. Maybe he'll be drafted by a good team. Rashad Matthews is another undervalued player that doesn't get enough respect, but the guy that I like right here because of best ball format is Kenny Stills. He can get behind the defense. He will score a handful of touchdowns. He's a guy that's going to have, 800 plus, 900 plus yards and 6 touchdowns. He'll get those monster weeks. And so, I went with him. Rashad Matthews goes right after him. Jordan Reed, Nick Chubb, a lot of good players here. Other questions. Which rookie running back is going to have a Kamara-like season in PPR? All right, so Kamara-like season, I'm going to take Saquon out because, Saquon certainly could as far as fantasy finish, but Kamara-like season means he wasn't a super high draft pick, but he finished. Kamara actually started the season. A lot of people drafted him and dropped him on waivers because he was pretty irrelevant in the first couple weeks. If there's a player that is lowly drafted, I've said this since the draft season that I love, it's Kerryon Johnson. I think he, like Kamara, has the 3-down skill set. He's a great pass catching back. There's not a lot of those in this year's draft. A lot of people love this year's running back class. I do not. I think this year's running back class is inflated based on last year's unbelievably good running back class. There's still some good players, but a lot of them, like Nick Chubb, like Darius Geis, maybe Sony Michel, some of those players, they are not prolific at pass catching. Maybe they will be great in the NFL at pass catching. Melvin Gordon, was not great in college and has been great in the NFL. But you've got Saquon, a great pass catcher. I think Kerryon Johnson fits that bill as well. So he would be my pick. Let's see what else we got. Next question. We got Kyle saying Kerryon is being overrated. Yeah, by me. I'm pumping him up as high as I can. And I recognize the faults there. Detroit has not had a 100-yard rusher in forever, but their offensive line is a lot better. You could say it's crowded with LeGarrette Blount and Theo Riddick there. I say Theo Riddick who over the last 4 seasons has more receptions than any running back in the NFL not named Le'Veon Bell, says that Matt Stafford throws the ball to the running back position. I am on the clock. I have 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, so I could go either way here. I'm going to look for a player that I just like the best. Young guys here are oftentimes safer than the elderly when you're in best ball. I'm going to go with a very Kenny Stills type pick and get those smooth routes from Kenny Galladay, another guy who gets behind defenses. Marvin Jones last year was, the wide receiver 9 in depending on your scoring format. He's a wide receiver 1, and it was based upon long bomb touchdowns. We saw Kenny Galladay do that. If they go his way instead of Marvin Jones, I'm not going to be surprised. So I'll take him in the 12th round. No problemo. So there's 18 rounds. I'm about to be on the 13th round. I just got to start counting the players, counting the positions, saying, okay, how many tight ends do I want? How many quarterbacks do I want? Running backs and wide receivers. Usually the way that, I will change this. This is not a set in stone rule, but my ideal count would be 3 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks, more wide receivers than running backs. That's basically what I try to do. But if there's not a good enough tight end, I'm happy to have 2 tight ends. If I went wide receiver heavy in the beginning, I'm going to go running back heavy in the end, and I might have more running backs and wide receivers. And then there are certain situations where I might take a 3rd quarterback. That's only really if I missed all of them with my 2nd, and then I grab 2. I'll grab like a Lamar Jackson, or guys that maybe you're not sure are playing the whole season, and then that's when I know like I didn't win this draft. All right, I'm up in 1 pick. Plenty of good quarterbacks still on the board. The best running backs available: Aaron Jones, I don't love. Gio, Corey Clement, Chris Carson, Latavius Murray. I think Latavius Murray is going to be the goal line back, so I actually like him. Wide receivers on the board. You got the aforementioned Djax, Tyler Lockett. I really like him. Paul Richardson, Mike Williams. There is one wide receiver that I really, really like. I'm not going to pick him yet or say his name and hope he gets back to me. I'm going to take Latavius Murray. I think there's not a lot of running backs on the board right now that will have the goal line work that Latavius Murray has. So if Dalvin Cook is healthy the whole season, I'll still have games. Once you're in the backup range, you want touchdowns, okay? Because these guys aren't going to be that involved. Either touchdowns or heavy pass catchers like Theo Riddick if he were to continue in that role, which I have Kerryon Johnson taking over that role. But you want touchdowns because they're not going to be that involved. But on any week when the guy gets a touchdown, he's probably going to be in your starting lineup automatically. So that's why I like Latavius Murray. But then he has the added benefit where if Dalvin Cook were to go down again, Jerick McKinnon is out of town and he would be a de facto workhorse running back. So that's my thought process there. So I am a ways away from being on the clock. I'll see if the guy that I want comes back to me. He's a little bit lower in the rankings, so I think there's a good chance he does. But I haven't got enough pieces of this player, and I want him. All right, Dennis wanting to know, when are you guys coming to San Francisco? We don't know. We only have this year's trips planned. Hey, Dallas, is anybody listening or watching here from Dallas right now? Because if you are, we are 6 days away from our live event show in Dallas. Go to ballerslive.com. You can get tickets for $25, or I think it's like $85 for our ticket and a field pass to the NFFC, which is normally $120. Great deal. Go to ballerslive.com. We'll also be a couple weeks after that in Philadelphia and New York City the night after. And if you're playing any best ball on draft.com/ballers, go to that link, draft.com/ballers, sign up, play some games, and you'll be automatically entered to a flyaway contest. Paid flights, paid room and board, paid ticket to see us at New York. We'd love to have you there. All right, I am 1 pick away. Oh no, Geronimo Allison did get drafted. Oh man, that's who I wanted. Kudos to you. I am up next, and I'm just angry. There's actually some wide receivers I still like a little bit better. I'm having a tough choice here between Michael Gallup and Tyrell Williams. Tyrell Williams more proven. Michael Gallup more like Maybe he'll be the primary catcher. Catcher? Is this baseball? Primary receiver. I'm going to go for the fences here. I'm going to take Michael Gallup. It's possible he ends the season as the wide receiver one. For the Cowboys, it's I've got DJ Moore as my favorite rookie wide receiver. Tyrell Williams went right after me. I've got DJ Moore as my best rookie wide receiver, but it's important to know rookie wide receivers, they don't usually pop the way that running backs do. However, over the last several seasons since 2014, I take that year out because that was an unbelievable year where everyone hit and was a wide receiver one, it seemed. There's still the number one rookie wide receiver averages the wide receiver 15 position. So if it happens to be Michael Gallup, which I think he's got odds on, good odds, good Vegas odds to be that number one wide receiver of the rookie class this year based on his situation, then probability or I should say history says he'll finish somewhere around the wide receiver 15 if he were to win that number one spot. So I'll be willing to take him there. All right, I am in the 15th round. Probably should look for some tight ends. Quarterbacks, I really don't care about. I'm not going to get a quarterback till probably my last pick. You got Mr. Necessary, Charles Clay. You got Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron, a guy I've liked a long time. But I'm going to take the opposite of Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham is a touchdown only guy. I've got him on my roster for those big weeks. But whenever Jimmy Graham doesn't get those touchdowns, I think a safe counterpart will be Jared Cook, who was top 10 in the league in as far as tight ends in targets, receptions, yards, but he doesn't score touchdowns. So he gives me kind of a safe baseline, very unsexy pick to combine with Jimmy Graham. Now, this is where I look and see that they're both going to be on the same bye week, and I'll be forced to take a third tight end. Oh, they are. Oh, no. I called it. All right. Looks like I'll be taking another tight end in a little bit. That's something you want to watch for. It's much more difficult to do when you're answering questions, doing a live stream, and a best ball draft at the same time. But this is fun. Oh, am I on the clock right now? I am. Oh, shoot. Let's see. I'm going to take Calvin Ridley. If I got him. Let's see. Oh, no. Nope. I, for some reason, thought I was on the clock. I was not on the clock. That's great news because I didn't draft anybody. So whatever you do, don't draft Calvin Ridley. All right. Someone's got the 101 and 102 in Dynasty. Saquon and who else? I'm not hurting at wide receiver or running back. My number 2 is Rashad Penny. I really like his film. I like the first round draft capital. I like he's the only thing I like about the Schottenheimer hire for offensive coordinator. Or if I had the number 2, I would be trying to trade back to accumulate more assets, more draft picks next year, because there's 6 or 7 running backs that could all finish as good. I would be happy to trade back to the 7, get Kerryon Johnson and next year's first rounder, or, even the 7 or 8 and get DJ Moore. I'd be happy with that as well. All right, so let's look at what quarterbacks are available. Jared Goff, Alex Smith, Derek Carr, Trubisky, Manning, Bortles. There's a ton of them, so I don't need a quarterback. I am now for real on the clock. I have 5 running backs, several wide receivers. I am going to take a look again at the tight end. I only have 3 picks left. I know I need another one, and I know it can't be a week 7 by tight end. So I could take a Cameron Brate or Austin Hooper, but I'm going to take a guy that I actually think has the potential to be a top 6 tight end. That is Austin Seferian-Jenkins. He is surprisingly only 25 years old, just signed a new contract with the Jags. Every report out of camp says that he's got great rapport with Bortles. When Bortles has had success in the past, he's had a 30-plus touchdown season, and that season was with Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson, 2 players that are gone. So if he needs a new red zone threat, I think it could be Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who we would feel different about ASJ this season. If last year, what did he have, 2 or 3 touchdowns that were basically taken away from him on review, falsely, wrongly taken away, I would add. We'd feel different about him this season, and he probably would have got more money from the Jags. All right, let's see here. Oh, someone was upset. They got sniped. We found a Dynasty League member from the Foot Clan forums. He's awesome. Thanks for that resource. You're very welcome. Everyone can check out footclanforums.com or footclanleagues.com. That's where people are actually starting new leagues with other Foot Clan members. Those are the listeners of the show. If you're not familiar, if you're just checking in, like, who's this guy? We're the fantasy footballers. We live, breathe, eat, die fantasy football. We pride ourselves on being entertaining, but also on being accurate. Last season, we had two of our 3-pack that were in the top 14 in accuracy rankings. I'm on the clock. I'm shutting up. Let's see here. Right now, I've got 3 tight ends. I could look at quarterback for my last one. I need to make sure, since I plan to only have 2, that I don't have a week 11 bye. I'm actually going to combine. I moved Bortles up a little bit ago. I'm going to combine Brady with Bortles, or us, Safarian Jenkins, with Bortles. I took him over Jared Goff, over Derek Carr. Those guys, to me, Derek Carr, we're not sure what he is anymore. Jared Goff, I think, had an unusually high season. And where you go, oh, Bortles sucks. The reality is Bortles has usually finished for fantasy football as a quarterback 1 or near it after his rookie season. So, yeah, he might be bad, but he rushes the ball more than you realize. And, he's had those big monster seasons. So I am fine with the ugly picks like a Blake Bortles. All right, I am a little ways away. I've got one final pick. So what I'm going to look at here is I'm going to look at my roster. I'll read it to you guys. My quarterback's Tom Brady and Blake Bortles. My running backs are Zeke, Shady, David Johnson. That would have been better. Duke Johnson, Rex Burkhead, and LaShawn McCoy. My wide receivers, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins, Kenny Stills, Kenny Golladay, and Michael Gallup. And I've got Jimmy Graham, Jared Cook, and Austin Safarian Jenkins for tight end. So I'm definitely not going more than 3 tight end. I could go quarterback, but I probably won't. I usually like 2 quarterbacks. So between my running backs and my wide receivers, this is the time where I absolutely look at bye week. And wouldn't you know it, I have 3 week 11 bye weeks because I have not been able to pay a lot of attention of my 5 running backs. So that means Ezekiel Elliott and Latavius Murray would be the only 2 available for me on week 11. And that's assuming that both of them are healthy and active. So it's all because of that. And my wide receiver bye weeks look good. I'm almost guaranteeing myself that I will take a running back. The running backs on the board right now: Kalen Ballage, Frank Gore from Miami, Spencer Ware, Austin Eckler, Peyton Barber, high-quality backups that you could hope for. TJ Yeldon, who has been, surprisingly better than people realize over the course of his career. Super awesome upside guys as far as handcuffs, like a John Kelly or Chase Edmonds, where if David Johnson or Todd Gurley went down, then you get a beast. But because of my situation where I don't have I only have 2 running backs in week 11, I want to get a guy that I am confident is playing. And so if there's one guy I can bank on playing, it's probably Frank Gore. He's the Infinity Stone. He's never going to quit. He might not be great, but he's another body out there, and I will take Frank Gore, who, get this, this is great. You're going to love this. As a week 11 bye. Oh, that's what you get for trying to multitask. So congratulations, everyone, on beating me here. Let's see. Any other questions? See Chase Edmonds, not Penny. I must have missed something there. Oh, you got Richard. You got tickets to the Philly live show. You going to grab some cheesesteaks while we're there? Yes. I will grab the cheesesteak and eat all the steak out of it and leave the bread because I'm on the keto diet right now. But I'm going to have that. Steve, thanks. Bonjour from Canada. Lev Bell or Gurley? I am firmly in the Lev Bell side. Gurley had 20 touchdowns last year, 6 receiving touchdowns. He's had a down year. He's had an up year. He's had a down year. So I would definitely go Lev Bell there. And Eric says keto is hell. So I will leave you with that. Thank you guys for chiming in. Play best ball, draft.com/ballers to get entered in the free flyaway contest to see us in New York. That should be a blast. Check out the website, all the articles, all the rankings, and the Ultimate Draft Kit at ultimatedraftkit.com. And if you want, we even have a new podcast, the Spitballers podcast, which is just us talking nonsense. No football at all. But if the wife's in the car and she doesn't want to hear it. We'll throw this one on. Thanks, guys. We will see you. Mike will be back doing another Best Ball live draft next week. So follow us on Twitter at the FF Ballers to make sure you can get in the next one. Appreciate it. Have a good one.